Whenever I go outside and feel the breeze of spring/summer with the grass becoming green and the sun shining upon me, I remind myself of games I feel like playing that fit the same kind of feeling. I always wonder why so many games that came out during the year 2000 all the way to 2010 had the same kind of tropical feel to them. Like Super Mario Sunshine took place within a tropical island, this game just feels perfect to play during spring/summer. Or Final Fantasy X, just being the entire game taking place within a tropical island. I mean, just look at the world map for this game. It feels so much like summer. I feel like TV also played a huge part in game making at the time, like hit shows like Survivor and Lost gaining large popularity, and I think game dev took inspiration from those shows for sure. For example, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is about the exploration of the huge sea of Hyrule and traveling on a boat. It feels wrong to play the Wind Waker during winter time. If you could hear both of these images, what I'm saying is that games during this time felt different, but looked very different too. And this is the era where I started playing video games on the consoles I had growing up, like the PS2, GameCube, and Wii. I want to explain why I love these games from the year 2000 all the way to the end of 2010. And I would use some examples along the way during this video. But first, let's dive into the pop culture of this area to explain how games are tropical in the first place. A lot of pop culture established a trend called Frutiger Aero. Remember when you had a PC and the background was this? Yeah, Frutiger Aero has this aesthetic of a computer interface that was friendly to the viewer with this glossy blue and water-based tropical theme and atmosphere. In the early 2000s, the internet was everywhere. Shit, I loved going into my computer and trying to get Minecraft for free and looking at Mario fan games. I really hated Mario Rage and whatever that game was called when it came out. I remember that PS3 also had this menu that looked like Frutiger Aero, and a lot of the marketing of Windows, where all these wallpapers were just bright green grass with water and fish within the wallpaper. But I feel like the best console that had this aesthetic with their main focus was the Wii. I mean, the Wii had motion controls within all their games, and made that the main gimmick within swinging the Wiimote to swing a golf club or using the Wiimote to play tennis, and to beat their own family members to a bloody pulp after they get a better score within Just Dance. The Wii dominated in sales like crazy, by just beating Xbox and PlayStation with their own respective consoles. The menu within the Wii was absolutely top notch and is just memorable to this day, and modding the console is so damn worth it. I would recommend doing it. The main menu theme felt like a real TV within channels and big icons to show you how easy it is just to choose one. I remember wanting to get the Wii Sports Resort but couldn't since I had no money and I was like 7 years old. But I remember that the main focus of the game was sports, which were more tropical based, with the setting being Woohoo Island. I also can't forget the levels within some games, like Kingdom Hearts being a vibrant color scheme of blue, green, and white, along with other games achieving or doing the same thing, like Mario Kart Wii with Mushroom Gorge, with its same color scheme but with red and white. Mario Galaxy with its deep blue sky blocks and bright green grass. Mario Galaxy 2 being even brighter and maybe the reason why I love it more than the first game, especially with that Mario Starship World 1 atmosphere, with its music playing being a big part in why I love that game so much. Even Nintendo continued to do this with the Wii U, which I couldn't get as a kid, but now I own it and I modded it too. Green and blue coexist really perfectly with this genre, especially in the games where it fits its own atmosphere. The Mii Maker music from the Wii U is the music playing right now actually. The Xbox 360 also had the same idea as Nintendo, focusing on the same atmosphere along with its music, like the Mii Editor on the Wii and Wii U being almost the exact in the Xbox 360 with the avatar creator. Even the old menu was similar, with the bright green glossy icons and titles. The common thing with Frutiger Aero is that they had this nature theme to them, like one of the 360 menus having a color pattern of green being the color for grass, and blue being the color for water and the sky, and white being the color of cloud. What I like about it mostly is when it's a bright sunny day outside, and I decide to play a game that has the same type of setting outside, and would play a dark game during the night or when it rained outside. I would also go on my YouTube and decide to listen to some Frutiger Aero playlist, and by right now you are listening to some at this very moment. The games within any console to their games, music also played a huge part within this genre, like Kingdom Hearts 2 The menu music for Kingdom Hearts 2 is an absolute masterpiece and better than the first one. And even setting music for the Nintendo 3DS Wi-Fi music does the same thing. Heck, even games from the 90s had music that fits the aesthetic for Frutiger Aero, and people used these songs on edits within social media. With Donkey Kong's aquatic ambulance being the main one. And that got popularized without people even knowing it came from Donkey Kong. I remember when people used this song a lot, and now everyone associates it with Frutiger Aero without knowing that it's from Donkey Kong. Another great example of music being used within those playlists is the songs from Yume to Nikki, which is a fan-made game inspired by Yume Nikki, which isn't a tropical game in the slightest, but some areas do fit the aesthetic, like the area Lotus Waters. Chain World from Yume to Nikki. We also can't forget Barrack Settlement. Sorry, I just really like that game's OST. I know what I said most about this video is about video game music, because that is my favorite example, and my favorite part of games. One of my favorite examples is Twilight Princess. After defeating the dungeon boss and hearing the boss defeated OST, it kind of fits the atmosphere of Frutiger Aero, and can be used in one of those playlists like I mentioned before. I did do a whole video about the atmosphere of Twilight Princess, which is a video I'm very proud of making, so please check that out, link in the description. Back to the menus, I have to explain the 3DS store menu, because the store does not exist anymore, which is pretty depressing. But man, the way Nintendo showcased the store just screams Frutiger Aero in the best possible way, with the same bright colors that I mentioned before. I also want to explain a game where this aesthetic was all over the place, Mirror's Edge, a game that came out in 2008, and the one I played on the Xbox 360, where I would watch Jacksepticeye play Turbo Dismount and watch Small Games playing GTA. But Mirror's Edge aesthetic is one-to-one with Frutiger Aero. The office spaces that look identical to Windows wallpapers back in the day, and even the Xbox menu. Also, this game is very underrated, and I wish that it was on more platforms, and maybe a sequel, but I dream too much. Graphics in video games were also increased like crazy. The style of the internet was great, and people would say that this is the future that was promised. But nowadays, the internet feels like a dystopian society, like something out of 1984. So what would game devs do during the 2000s? Try to escape the real world and enter a new one, through gaming by making a lust secret of a tropical beach by pretending that you are on vacation by playing the game. I also have to explain the other things that happened during the time, like right after 9/11. A lot of people had a bleak perspective on the world and pushed that onto the internet, and more edgy/grungy and punk stuff skyrocketed, especially with music and culture, like bands like Linkin Park, Green Day, and My Chemical Romance being the top bands at the time. I find it funny that games had this huge tropical atmosphere to them, while other games that came out during that time were more edgy and dark styles, like Manhunt, Half-Life 2, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Silent Hill 2, and the Batman Arkham games. Do y'all remember Sonic Adventure being on a tropical island and then all of a sudden Shadow has a fucking gun? Like, what? Even the main menu noise for that game is a gunshot. It's not a phase, mom. The world just made me this way. And even though both of these different genres coexisted, it was my favorite era of gaming, in my opinion. Some of my favorite games that came out during the time, like some I mentioned before, such as Twilight Princess, Kingdom Hearts 2, Silent Hill 2, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Shadow of the Colossus, and Resident Evil 4. I don't know if anyone noticed at the time, when these games first came out, their first entry in the franchise had this bright color scheme to them. And I always preferred the original look to games more than remakes. One of the best examples is Shadow of the Colossus. Look, I really like the remake and even platinumed the game, but every time I go back to deciding which version I want to play, I always decide the PS2 version through emulation, because I love the poly bloom look to it, and just exploring a blank room filled with nothing just makes me feel like I'm really exploring that. But I don't know the best way to explain it, but I love it. And with these dark, edgy games that first started being friendly, and having the sequels be the main character aura farming within the box cover art with the name of the game with a 2 next to it. Like Jak 1 had this tropical setting, and then in Jak 2, you're in a city and you use guns. And Jak as a series is a platformer. Even Ratchet & Clank did this too. I feel like when you ask someone why game devs decided to go with this change, it depends on who you are asking, since game devs at the time and normal people started to see that gaming isn't just for kids, and teens were getting into it alongside adults. And that's why those games began to have more mature themes with them within their storytelling and environment, because it seemed edgy and a lot more cooler. Can we also talk about how most games that came out during this era are now mad expensive? Like Silent Hill 2. Right now, Silent Hill 2 is around $150 alongside Twilight Princess on the GameCube, while Winnie the Pooh recently just did the same thing, and it's because of the atmosphere that game provided. I even save videos from social media that have edits of this type of atmosphere with both tropical themes and more edgy and dark themes. I have talked a huge deal about atmosphere in games within my channel already, and it's because atmosphere alongside music being my favorite thing about video games. I love being put into a fictional world of wonder and trying to explore every nook and cranny the game has to offer. Social media has also gone in the side of aesthetic by making edits of the 2000s being cooler, or one game having a really cool snow area or tropical area. There are even a few aesthetics that define the 2000s in a lot of ways. Horror-Grunge. If you don't know what Horror-Grunge is an aesthetic that plays well in graphic design for marketing. A few examples are Silent Hill 3, Postal, the movie 7, and a game I mentioned before, Resident Evil 4. Almost every single one had this orange tint to them to create a feeling of discomfort for the person who was looking at them. It appears in the cover art and the game menus. I even talked about marketing that took place within the 2000s with the PS2 ads, which I'll leave a link in the description. I feel like one more thing that was similar and unforgettable within this era is the mystery that took place or was discussed around these video games. Like nowadays, people can look up lore or Reddit discussions of a thing you can find in a game and get an answer for it right away, or even look at lore videos on YouTube. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying it's a lot more easier now. But I remember a time when I was going around Silent Hill and trying to read every damn note the game had to offer and piece together the lore in my own way. And right after finishing the game, I went to forums to see what people had to say about what they found in their playthrough, and would talk to people at my school lunch table to figure out how to do the Easter egg for Ascension from Black Ops Zombies. And I remember a time when on YouTube, a lot of the old grummy 720p quality videos had people show off glitches or Easter eggs they found in those games. The sense of mystery and wonder was amazing to me and was very valuable to me. Games nowadays don't encourage people to go explore anymore, and nowadays we get this slop now. I remember when rumors and myths were popping up in games all the time, like the most famous one being Bigfoot in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or Luigi being in Super Mario 64, which isn't a myth anymore, or my favorite, Link being dead in Majora's Mask, which introduced me to creepypastas and internet mysteries that I find a factuation to, and almost kinda look for it and even like it. Why do we look back at old games and think, man, they don't make them like this anymore? It's not just because they were better. Every era has good and bad games. It's because they represented a specific moment in time. The 2000s felt like being on the edge of something. The internet was new, gaming was changing, technology felt exciting. There was this feeling that the future was right around the corner, and games were the place we could experience it. It felt enjoyable when we were kids. I'm 20 years old now, and would find myself playing retro games in my CRT because playing them on my 4K TV doesn't hit the same. I find myself exploring an area of a game and just taking in the scenery of it all, and wish I was 8 again experiencing these games for the first time. What I want to say is that we lost that feeling. I remember this old GTA Vice City video of Tommy being replaced with a model of Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man theme would play around the video. The 7th generation consoles took things to a whole new level by having video games act like movies, like Uncharted 2 by having a cinematic approach to Unreal Engine technology, being real-time set pieces. Finally, all I have to say is that games nowadays don't feel the same way. Yeah, there are a few here and there that give the same kick, like 2000s games, but some are really lacking. Like instead of simple UIs, I keep seeing ads and skins encouraging people to buy. Like how the fuck do I manage to get to the lobby screen? I think most games aren't made with passion anymore. They are strictly made to take your name because they know you will buy the next Call of Duty game again and again. And it's sad seeing Call of Duty being the new EA Sports. Modern gaming does have its ups and downs, but the heart of game making is slowly fading, it seems like. I carried gaming through when I was 5 to the rest of my life. I made it my whole well-being, that I get excited that Ocarina of Time is being remade, but feel slightly scared it won't be the same. I remember a lot of specific moments from the 2000s. I wanted to showcase them all in this one video, but there are so many that I just couldn't. Devs back then used everything in their power to make a game through creative art direction and used it as an advantage, which in the future can get very far. Which is why I love games from the 2000s. If you made it to the end of the video, I thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video and listen to me yap. If you like this video and my content, please consider subscribing. It means a whole lot to me. Plus, if you'd like to share a story of playing a game from the 2000s or any game, please share it in the comments. I would love to read them. Nonetheless, I hope you all have a great day and God bless. See y'all in the next video. Bye.